Hey guys, welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We are live today with the latest updates in Bachelor Nation. As always, I'm your host, Gabby Ganta, and I'm joined by Hiba Berry today. Hello, Hiba. Happy Friday. The weekend is so close. I'm so excited. What about you?
Hey Gabby, I'm doing well. Yes, excited for the weekend. Always happy when it's a Friday, of course.
Yes, it's been so hot in LA. I'm ready for a pool day this weekend, so that's what I'll be up to later this weekend. But of course, let's get into all this Bachelor news because there's so much to update on everyone today. So today is April 2nd, which means yesterday was April Fool's Day, where lots of people were taking part in pulling pranks, and even some members of Bachelor Nation favorites joined in on the fun. Although I have to say, this year has been crazy enough. I was like, nobody better prank me because I'm already on edge about everything. So, but a lot of people
Exactly.
still wanted to have some fun yesterday, and they certainly did. Let's start off with Matt James, who has been rocking a nice and bushy beard since filming on his season of The Bachelor ended. And yesterday, he made fans think that he shaved it off. If only. I certainly wish this was true. But Matt posted a photo on Instagram stories of him with a clean shaven look, which many fans have said they preferred. And he captioned it, "It was time. Peace out, beard." Just a few hours later, though, he posted another selfie with the beard back and said, "April Fool's hashtag beard gang." So, Hiba, I want to know, did you see this on his Instagram? Were you fooled by it?
I did see this on his Instagram and I was so happy. I was like, finally, we got rid of the beard. It's done. He's never going back. That phase is over. But lo and behold, he completely fooled us, of course. And I know a lot of people hate the beard. Actually hate the beard, so I wasn't mad at this when I saw the picture. But then, of course, when he came clean, I was a little bummed out. But you know what? If he wants to rock it, let him rock it. Like, who are we to judge? But yeah, I just think the clean shaven is always the way to go, or like a little bit of scruff. But this is just a little too much for me.
It's definitely a lot. And, since we saw his big beard come back up after filming, fans have been teasing him, saying that it was a dead giveaway that he's single, right? Because no girl's going to want a giant beard like that on him. So, my next question is, when he finally does shave it, is that a clear sign that he's maybe not single anymore?
That's a really good question, and I never thought to piece together whether or not his beard would determine his relationship status, but I feel like they kind of, reflect off of one another, so that would make sense. But I think so. That would be a really good clue to, really see if he's dating or if he's taken, just based off the length of his beard or if the beard even exists anymore. I just really don't know if I saw any comments that liked the beard from a girl's perspective. So I think that when it is gone, he might be taken. He might be off the market. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. We're gonna have to keep a close eye out. This is certainly a funny prank because I'm sure he knows how much people have been poking fun at him for this, but down the line, he's gonna have to cut it. I mean, it's summer coming soon. It's gonna be really hot. I feel like guys
True.
wanna,
Mhm.
trim as much hair as possible. So maybe when he shaves his beard, it'll just be because it's summer and it's hot, or maybe there's a girl in the picture who convinced him to do it. So we'll have to keep a close eye out on that. But before we move on and talk about another April Fool's prank from a Bachelor and alum, if you're joining us live and you're new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos or any future lives like this. Of course, you can also follow us on Twitter at Shared News and tune into our lives there. So if you are joining us for this live, make sure you are commenting your opinions and your questions on this video because by the end, we're gonna talk about some of them. So make sure you get your questions in. Next up is one of the cutest couples of Bachelor Nation, Kaitlyn Bristowe and Jason Tartik. So Kaitlyn, as we know, is hilarious and quite the jokester, so she also took advantage of April Fool's Day to pull a massive not safe for work prank on Jason. Now, it's nothing too bad, but if you're watching this live at work, just beware. So here's what went down. Kaitlyn started the prank by sending Jason a nude photo the night before, so Wednesday, and then rallied up together 25 to 30 of their friends to frantically text Jason in the morning saying, "Did you mean to post that?" in all caps, suggesting that he accidentally leaked her photo online. So if this were true, it would be a very bad situation. Caitlyn FaceTimed him while freaking out and let this prank go on for about 10 minutes before revealing it to him. Such a poor guy here. She then posted the prank on Instagram saying, quote, "There's a lot of ups and downs in this video, but if you ever want to see Jason mad, here's your chance. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's scary. I love you, babe. Thanks for being a good sport." So, Hiba, did you think this was cruel or absolutely hilarious? Jason recently posted his side of the story, so he sort of replayed everything, showed some of the text messages that made him think this was so real. So, what do you think? Was this so funny or was this just absolutely savage?
I think this was a pretty cruel prank because I mean, he could have possibly leaked, her photos, and that's of course a huge invasion of privacy because they are famous. They are, publicized in the media and social media. Like people know who they are. So I think like poor guy, that must have been terrifying. And Caitlyn in the video, like she's such a good actress. Like she didn't break at all. Like I believed her even though I knew what was going on. So I could not imagine what was running through his head and what his thoughts were. So I thought it was pretty cruel and just absolutely terrifying if that were to be real. Um, so obviously it's not real, so that's a huge relief. But yeah, I mean, poor guy. That I feel like that's where like the trust issues start with those types of things. What did you think?
Oh my gosh, so true. Yeah, I mean, he seems like a nice guy where if this were to happen, he would just probably feel bad forever, right? So you could tell he was absolutely panicking. And it wasn't just a couple people that she got to text him or any of their close
Right? Yeah.
friends. Like she got 20 plus people to reach out to him, and it was after he was saying who it was people where he hasn't talked to them in years or something like that. So it made it really look like this was not a joke.
That's
So
commitment.
definitely feel it's such commitment. I definitely feel for Jason here. I'm glad that he was able to laugh it off and sort of, have fun with it in the end. But I'm super gullible with pranks. So, how about you? If this was happening to me, I mean, I fell for a few pranks yesterday, even just small ones, because I just react in the moment and don't actually take a moment to think about what's going on. So, I would have certainly fell for something like this that was like very deep and had layers because I'll fall for basic things too. But how gullible are you, Hiba? Would this have totally thrown you off too?
I'm pretty gullible, but usually when it comes to April Fools, I'm very hyper aware. I always check the date to make sure, okay, it's not April Fools or it is. Really gonna watch out for everything and question everything basically. I did see some like thumbnails like on YouTube and stuff, and I was like, you know what, it's April Fool's Day. Like I'm not even gonna bother clicking on these videos or anything like that. So I definitely dodged some here and there. But like side note, the Michael Strahan like closing his gapped teeth, like that threw me off because he posted about it the day before, so we kind of had some time to like not be fooled just yet and be on our kind of like heightened, like just like questioning everything. So he did that the day before. So I fell for that one. But usually the day of, it's like too on the nose. So like I know not to trust it. But generally speaking, yeah, I'm pretty gullible just to give you a short answer.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I know. It's one day out of the whole year, right? You think we would be more aware of that. Sounds like you are. I'm certainly not. I saw a prank that was saying that it was confirmed that Peter and Kelly were going to be in paradise. And I was like, stop right now. What? And then I saw that it was a joke. It also could be possible because, they're kind of talking to everyone who might be able to end up on the beach. So it might not be a prank down the line, but yesterday it certainly was just a fake headline. Thank goodness. But if you're tuning in live right now, let us know your thoughts about Caitlyn and Jason's prank. Do you think it was hilarious or cruel? And are you super gullible with pranks? Let us know in the comments. We're going to get to a few questions by the end of the video. Next up, we have some Bachelor baby news, and this one is not a prank, thankfully. Krystal Nielson just gave birth to a baby girl with boyfriend Miles Bowles. They haven't revealed the name yet, which is always my favorite part, so I'm gonna really be looking out for that. But to refresh everyone's memory, Krystal, who's known as Coach Krystal on Instagram, she appeared on Ari's season of The Bachelor and then a season of Bachelor in Paradise, where she got engaged to Chris Randone and then married him on a televised wedding special. So she was one of those couples. Now, those two split in February of 2020. Then they finally divorced in August of 2020, and then she announced her baby news back in November. So, this is a very detailed timeline. Basically, things have moved very quickly for her, but they are so excited about their baby. I mean, look at that picture. That is so adorable. Look at that cute little baby. I love everything they're doing on Instagram with her, too. She has her own Instagram page already. She doesn't even have a name yet, and they're already documenting everything. So we love to see that. We can definitely keep up with it there. But I want to know what you think, Hiba. Obviously, have you been following their journey? And how do we think Krys feels? This is really fast. They didn't divorce too long ago, and now she is starting another life with a different guy. And now they have a kid. So from what I've heard, it sounds like Krys is very supportive. They, ended their relationship by still being friends and still loving and supporting each other. But this might be tough in a relationship, especially when there hasn't been all that much time to heal. So what do you think?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really followed a lot of Bachelor Nation previous relationships. I just got into Bachelor Nation, so I'm only familiar with, the recent ones. But I mean, of course, I've said this time and time again, whenever it comes to someone in the Bachelor Nation, we always root for them, to find love and to be happy in the end. So I'm so happy that, of course, she is now a mom, which is so exciting. And even though her relationship didn't work out, I think usually behind closed doors, that there takes a lot of time of grieving and getting over that. Whereas when we just see the public persona of these people, it seems very quick. Even though I'm sure there's been like months and months of, like dating or I don't even know, like being pregnant or whatnot. So to us, it just seems very quick. And I mean, this timeline does seem very quick. I mean, just a couple months apart. No judgment there, of course. Everyone's journey is different. But I'm just happy that, she's a mom now. She seems in love. And those pictures were really cute, of course, that we saw on Instagram. And as far as Krys, I think I want to say there's no hard feelings. Of course, we don't know that. But I'm sure if she's happy, he's happy, and it seems like that she's moved on clearly, and now she's a mom. So I mean, just hopefully they just wish the best for each other, and they didn't work out for a reason, and you know things happen. So I think it was just a sign to like move on and see that she's clearly moved on and is with a relationship with another person, clearly a mom, like I keep saying. So yeah, I'm just happy it worked out in general. What did you think?
Yeah, me too. I mean, 2020 was a really tough year for everyone who was in a serious relationship and stuck with it. Big props to them. I know divorce was really common last year, so of course we hate seeing that in Bachelor Nation, especially when we've seen love stories unfold on multiple seasons. They even got married on live TV. So for me, I was super invested in that relationship, and it was like, oh, Krys and Krystal. But then, of course, as we say a lot on here, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and we obviously want people to be happy in the end, not necessarily staying in a relationship that isn't great for them. So I do feel like they have moved on. They do still have love for each other. And I mean, welcoming a baby into the world, that is so exciting. And I know it just really changes people's world upside down. So I'm so happy for Krystal. I know she's going to be posting on Instagram so much more about her baby girl, and she's a fitness model and instructor. So maybe we'll see, postpartum workouts and all kinds of things like that. So just like so much more baby content, so much more Instagram content that I'm personally excited for. But of course, if you're tuning in live right now, let us know your thoughts. Are you super excited for Krystal? Have you been following her journey? Or how do you think Krys feels, after the short period of time? Let us know, and we're going to get to a few comments by the end of the video. Lastly, we have a very exciting update about Katie's Bachelorette men. So it has been confirmed that Blake Moynes from Claire and Tayshia's season has been spotted on the set of filming Katie's Bachelorette season. Ben Higgins and Ashley I confirmed the news with photos to back it up on their Almost Famous podcast this week. Bachelor fans actually predicted this after Blake had been pretty quiet on social media recently. Ben Higgins joked that, quote, Ashley crawled underneath the gate, walked through the resort, grabbed a couple of iPhone photos, and came back to the studio just to give us this update. So this is obviously a joke. However they got the photos, though, I'm glad that they did, because now we can get excited about seeing Blake on this season. But I want to ask you, Hibbo, what do we think the details are here? Is he joining night one, or is this maybe a Heather Martin situation when they're bringing back someone from a past season in the middle of her season to shake things up? How do you think this is going to go down?
Oh man, I don't even want to stress thinking about them bringing in more contestants as after the season has started because that was such a mess during Matt James's season, so I don't even want to think about it. But I think he
Mhm.
might show up night one just to kind of, change it up a little bit because we saw all the guys that are potentially going to join Katie's season, the new guys that we've seen, but no repeats like we've seen, for example, for Blake. So I think he might show up night
Mhm.
one just to change it up. He does have a following, of course. We saw him in Tayshia and Claire's season. Didn't have much luck there. So hopefully he might have some luck with Katie, might have gotten that practice of opening up a little bit more and being comfortable around, a whole crew and the experience. So I hope this time he might make it farther than he did with the previous two bachelorettes, but we'll see. I mean, I think he's going to be the night one. I think they kind of, tossed out that idea of bringing in people mid-season or weeks after the night one. So I think that, people didn't really react great to that. So I think they probably ruled that out, but it'll be interesting to see how far he makes it in this season for sure.
Yeah, it certainly will. I agree with you. And actually had her own theories about Blake's timeline on the show based on how filming has been going so far. She said the first cocktail party was filmed on March 22nd, and she predicted that, quote, if he's just been spotted now, if he's entering late, he's not entering too late. He's probably entering after the third rose ceremony. I would say this looks like he's going on a one-on-one or he's just entering. So it seems like she's predicting maybe he's going on a one on one. So it seems like maybe he'll show up a few weeks in and go on a one on one, similar to this is reminding me now of Michelle and Matt because she was one of the girls that came in the second batch, but then immediately got a one on one and was able to
Mhm.
explore her relationship with Matt. So I feel like maybe they'll do that, especially since Blake was from a past Bachelor season. It's going to be a big deal that he comes into the house full of all these new guys, right? So I'm wondering now, do we think this was Blake's decision? Like, is it a Heather Martin situation in the fact that once he saw Katie on TV, he was like, I really want to meet and date this girl. And so he really asked to join? Or do we think the producers maybe asked him to come on the show to stir things up, to give her another option, or because they just honestly thought they'd be a good match?
Those were a lot of good points that you just said, especially the person saying that they might enter after the third rose ceremony. So it does seem like he might be joining later on in the season, but again, not too late, which is nice. But it could
Mm-hmm.
actually be a Heather situation. Maybe he did see how Katie was in Matt James's season, had his eye on her, and of course wants to shoot his shot. And we are familiar with him in Bachelor Nation, so of course we want to root for him to hopefully make that connection if there is one. So I think he might have a chance of maybe going far, but again, I just have that hesitancy from the way that he was on Claire and Tayshia season. Again, very reserved, always just kind of in the background, didn't really open up until it was kind of too late and he kept asking for more time. But again, hopefully he's learned from that lesson and kind of implements that in Katie's season. But yeah, based off what you just said recently, I think he might be past the third rose ceremony or after that. So we'll have to just really just wait and see, but I wouldn't be surprised at this point because I mean you guys are always the FBI agents, you're always ahead of it, so we'll definitely have to keep watching.
Yeah, exactly. Ashley I, it seemed like she got the inside scoop here, and now we have a little bit of a better look at what he's doing there and that he's going to be one of the contestants. It does remind me of when he was on Claire and Tayshia season. I like that you are bringing that up because we remember on Claire's part of the season, he was fully invested. He was one of the guys who was so emotionally attached to Claire just after a little bit of time, and we weren't even sure he was going to volunteer to start dating Tayshia because he was pretty much not over Claire. And then once Tayshia showed up, he kind of dropped that and was fully on board because Tayshia was just such a wonderful girl, and I'm sure he didn't want to miss out on that opportunity. And then he did stay for a while, right? He stayed for a good
Hmm.
amount of weeks, and then it ended with their finally him getting a one-on-one, and it was a little bit awkward. So maybe they just weren't the perfect pair, but I do think Blake and Katie would be a really cute couple. Do you think that he's a good match for her? Are they going to hit it off, or is it going to be awkward again? What do you think?
You really just have to judge and see how Blake is now, just alone before he even talks to Katie, because we really need to see if he's at the point of being able to open himself up, because I think that's what he really challenged. That's what he was challenged with in the previous seasons, and I
Mhm.
think he just would always just move very slowly. And again, time is of the essence in Bachelor Nation with these shows. So I mean, you got to kind of like keep it moving. And I don't know if Katie will kind of agree with the pace he might want to take it or vice versa. So I think they might clash a little bit. I don't think it's going to be like easy, like chemistry, like right off the bat. I think it's going to take Blake some time to warm up to Katie, who is again a whole new lead. She's a whole different person from Claire and Tayshia. But based
Mhm.
off how easily he got over Claire, I'm not sure, maybe it will work. I mean, who knows? But that just goes to show you maybe he's not having as deep connections if he's able to move on so fast and kind of like bounce around to different leads. So that's kind of a question mark I might have on him, but it just really depends on how much he's learned from his past experience and how he'll implement that with Katie.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm also thinking now, maybe what if Katie had watched Claire and Tayshia's season and saw Blake and liked him, and maybe she was the one to say, "Hey, let's bring Blake on as one of the guys," right? I mean,
Could be.
hopefully she wasn't in that mindset of checking out the guys from Claire and Tayshia's season if she was one of the ones chosen to date Matt. That would be a little bit of an overlap there, probably. But maybe after all, she went back and watched the seasons or is starting to meet people in Bachelor Nation and says, hey, like Blake is really cute. We should bring him on. So I'm wondering maybe that's a scenario that might exist in the future of the season as
Mhm.
well. But another question. There is also the fact that Blake knows one of the other contestants. He actually has a relationship with one of the other guys going on the show. So, as you can see right here, these are the two men that we're expecting to be on Katie's season. So, I mean, I'm sure he's there to date Katie, or is he there just for moral support for his friend, or are they going to really hash it out and try to date the same girl? We know that is always difficult between guys or anybody on this show. um, and that brings me to another point with whenever they bring in past Bachelor alums, that it always shakes up the house, right? So do we think Blake's going to come in a few weeks late, as Ashley's predicting, and just cause chaos in the house? Is that a possibility, or is Blake too much of a sweetheart to start drama like that?
I mean, you can't really trust anyone at this point in Bachelor Nation of who's gonna, bring the drama. But that's interesting that his friend is also gonna be there. So maybe they will actually hash it out. Maybe that will stir some drama to see like who is the most fit to be with Katie in the end, who will make it far. But that's kind of weird. That's interesting because they are friends and they're gonna, try to compete for the same Bachelorette. So I mean that would be great for the drama department. But maybe he might just pop in for moral support and he'll just like pop in, pop back out. Maybe he won't even be a contestant. Maybe he's just visiting to give his advice to his friend. I mean, all these possibilities, it's so hard to kind of pinpoint what it could be. But I feel like everything we've discussed could be a possibility, of course, knowing Bachelor producers and what they always try to stir up. So I wouldn't be surprised if any of those ended up being true, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I'm personally hoping he's a contestant because I actually think that him and Katie would be a really cute couple. But as you said, we're just going to have to wait and see. There's a lot of factors going into this season. A few of the guys have relationships with other members of Bachelor Nation, one being Ed. I think it's either his friend or his cousin that's also going the show. So we might see more appearances from Bachelor alums on this season as well. But of course, let us know your thoughts, everyone. Do you think that Blake would be a good match for Katie? Let us know. We're going to get to comments and questions here in just a minute because we know you all are all keeping up with this news as well. So we want to know your thoughts and theories and to contribute to all of this because it's always interesting because people always have different takes about what's going on in Bachelor Nation, what we're going to expect for Katie's season. So everyone's very excited. I didn't even know they were this far along in filming Katie's season. So I'm
Mhm.
so excited. So, of course, if you guys are watching right now and you've enjoyed all this Bachelor updated news, drop a comment or a question right now. We're going to try to get to as many as possible this video and see what you all have to say about Bachelor Nation. All right, yes. Get your questions ready. I mean, look at these two stunning bachelorettes right here. We are so excited for their season. Hiba, how excited are you for Katie and then Michelle's bachelorette season? We didn't talk much about Michelle today, mostly about Katie, but are you so
Mhm.
excited?
Definitely excited. I just really hope as Katie's season is filming, we don't get too many spoilers. Of course, we're seeing all these BTS photos of people, leaking stuff. I really want to wait till it's actually, edited and filmed and everyone gets to react at the same time. But of course, I feel like that's inevitable. We're always going to get, those leaks here and there. So hopefully, we don't get too many.
Yeah, good luck with that. It's always tough to avoid spoilers.
Right.
Okay, let's see. One of our comments is from Leo, and they say, how will Tayshia react when Blake appears on Katie's season of The Bachelorette? That is a good question. I know Tayshia and Blake had a good relationship. Like we were saying earlier, they made it a few weeks in, and it didn't end up working out. She's obviously still happily with Zach, but
Hmm.
it's a little bit weird, right? Because she didn't date him too long ago, and now he is on another season of The Bachelorette already. So how do you think Tayshia's going to react? I didn't even think about that.
I don't think Tayshia will be too bothered. I think she's doing just fine with Zach. It seems like the relationship is still so solid to this day. I think she'll just cheer on Blake and support him because, of course, everyone is trying to find love and it doesn't matter in which way or whose season as long as, they're happy and they're doing what they want. So I think Tayshia, knowing her, like she's such a sweet girl, she's always going to be supportive. So I wouldn't be surprised if she, wasn't bothered by this news or anything.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think maybe if Tayshia didn't end up with anyone at the end, she would be a little bit more curious about which guys are going on future seasons
True.
because those are all potential people that she could rekindle a relationship with.
All right, this next comment says, I think Katie will be wary of the seasoned bachelors like Blake unless there is a genuine connection in the moment. She won't be swayed. I agree as well. I mean, Katie, we love Katie. She is so headstrong. She has a good head on her shoulders. And she, I think, is just so aware and knows exactly kind of how to go about this. It seems like she just has her standards. Again, she just knows what she wants. It's just the most
Mhm.
simple way that I can put it. And I don't think she has to be super wary of them. I mean, I hope she's not trying to be judgmental, but she's still staying open minded. And I mean, I trust her. I know she's going to make the right decision, of course, because again, she knows what she wants. So I think the seasoned bachelors, she might have like a question mark on them, but once, she starts talking to them and seeing again, like this person said, if there is a genuine connection, she'll kind of continue them on in the competition. But I think
Mhm.
she's just going to have to go about it as if they weren't even previously in any of the seasons, just like, the other people that we don't know and haven't been introduced to as well. So I think she shouldn't let those conceptions kind of get to her because again that was an experience this season bachelor contestant had with a whole other person, so hopefully that doesn't sway her too much, but I hope she also keeps her guard up at the same time. It's like this balance, it's very tricky.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that was an issue that Tasha had to deal with, right? Because she was getting a lot
Right.
of guys from Claire's season, so she really had to ask them, are you really into me or are you just here because of Claire still? So I think if someone like Blake comes in, Katie is going to definitely ask those questions like, okay, you dated Claire and Tasha. Are you over them? Are you ready to focus on me? If the answer is no, then he's probably not going to be staying very long.
Right.
Next up, we have Natalie. She said, is it possible we will see Riley make an appearance on Katie's season of The Bachelorette? Okay, that is a great name that we haven't talked about in a while. I think he would be a great one to come on Katie's season. Um, I'm not sure Katie's type, really. I think if she was maybe the one to call in Blake, and we've seen a couple of the guys that's been on her season, they're mid 20s, early 30s, and, there's a little bit of a range of a type, but I feel like Katie honestly doesn't have a type, and she would just go for anybody that personality wise she vibes with. So it just depends if her and Riley would be, a good personality match. But of course, none of the men have been confirmed to be contestants on Katie's season yet. So, what we've seen so far, of course, we have a few names that we can look at and suspect that they're going to be there or possibly be there. And then, of course, we have Blake now, who we can look forward to being on the season in some capacity. But,
Mm-hmm.
Hiba, what do you think about Riley and Katie?
That's a good point that you said, that we don't think Katie has a specific type, and I agree with that. I think it's just all about the connection, the chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she has any sort of physical, attractive kind of standards. I think she just wants someone that's more on the same mental wavelength as her, as far as, marriage, kids, where they stand, their work ethic, just personality wise versus looks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, again, just with anybody that will be a contestant on the show, whoever it may be, she's just trying to, again, look for that genuine connection and see if there's any type of spark, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next commenter says Blake is not a good match for Katie. Ooh, I wonder why you're saying that. I would love, an explanation, some more detail, but I don't know. I feel like, again, Blake is such a question mark. It really depends on how much he has learned with his experience, how comfortable he's become in front of the cameras, with these public relationships and exploring that in front of a whole camera crew. Again, it just really depends on how much he's willing to open up to Katie. I think that's what is key. So until we see
Mm-hmm.
that, I really can't, say whether or not he's going to be a good match. What do you think, Gabby?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely possible. Of course, it seems like Katie is very different than Claire and Tasha. So, in that regard, maybe they just meet and hit it off and it's love at first sight, or just like a perfect connection and he ends up going a long way because of that. Or it could fall flat because she has so many other guys that are also amazing. So, I know in the end, though, she's going to find her perfect match. So, we're looking forward to that. Okay, if we have any more questions, let's see. Are you more excited for Katie or Michelle's season? Now, we've sort of talked about this. I hate this question because I'm so
Same.
excited for both of them. And it's just something so different. We've never had back to back Bachelorette seasons in a year. So I'm so excited for both. I think we've talked about the fact that they're probably going to be very different because Michelle and Katie are both very different people. But I mean, I would have to just say Katie because it's coming sooner. So I'm excited for that one because we've already seen some sneak peeks and spoilers and things like that. But I'm equally as excited for Michelle's. What do you think, Hiba?
I agree. I'm excited for both of their seasons. And again, just Katie's because hers is closer. And I think Katie just has such a fun personality and she's like this no BS girl. Like she knows what she wants. She's like willing to speak out. She doesn't care. We've seen her, funny Instagram shirts and stuff like that. And I just think she just has a similar personality like me a little bit. But I'm just
Yeah.
excited to see kind of how she goes about this experience as the lead because we did see her as a contestant and that was still entertaining. We loved her and it will be an interesting perspective to see her now switch to this different role as the lead and to see how she handles it, to know you kind of put yourself as the viewer in their shoes and see who she likes or who she doesn't give a rose to. So I think it's going to be fun for sure, but I'm also really excited for Michelle's as well, but we're going to have to wait a lot of months for that one.
Yep, but it'll be coming soon. Of course, we're so excited for all of that. This does remind me of Hannah Brown because I remember when she was on Colton season, she wasn't my favorite at all. And then when she was announced as a bachelorette, I was like, what? There's probably so many, contestants that are better than her for this. But then during the season, she was just adorable and I totally fell in love with her. So in that case, I ended up liking someone who I didn't really like on the other season of The Bachelor. But I absolutely love Michelle and Katie, so I am just expecting to be blown away by their own Bachelorette seasons too.
Definitely. All right, now this next user says, how many toy limo entrances will be on Katie's season? I'm not sure what they mean by toy limo entrances.
Oh
Do
my
you know what they're
gosh,
talking
like
about,
the
Kelly?
yeah, so well, as we know, Katie famously brought the vibrator on her limo
Right.
entrance. So I feel like they're
Oh,
wondering,
okay.
yeah, like how many guys are going to do the same thing for her.
Got it. Okay, I was a little thrown off by the toy. I didn't understand that or put the dots together. But okay, that's interesting. I don't know. I feel like maybe they might if they have enough confidence to do it like Katie pulled it off. I think that'd be really funny. It'd be a funny idea, again to stick out and kind of relate to her because that's what she did for Matt James's season. But
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I think that's something, a brave person will have to do and a clever person. So we'll see if it happens night one.
Yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this because I feel like when we get the promo materials for Katie's season, like you know how they always like make it a thing, whatever their thing was. So like with
Hmm.
Hannah Brown, she was a pageant girl. So her whole promo video and photos and everything was, oh, I'm not just a pageant girl or something like that. So I feel like they might
Hers.
take Katie's vibrator like thing and make it her thing or make a pun about it or something because they absolutely love puns, as we know. So I feel like, a slogan could be like, Katie, the Bachelorette, looking for someone that vibes with me or something. Like I feel like they're gonna do something like cheesy like that to play off of the fact that she had that limo entrance. So that is my personal guess for that, but I'm gonna be having a close
That's a good
eye
one.
on the promo materials for Katie's season. All right, let's see. Bachelorette Becca Kufrin teased on Instagram that she might be willing to do Bachelor in Paradise. Thoughts? Yes. So we've been covering Bachelor in Paradise news a lot because a lot of things have come through about who we think are going to be on the beach this summer. I know they're having a hard time choosing people because not everyone is on board to ready and go into another Bachelor season already, but I mean, Becca Kufrin, we love her. She had her own Bachelorette season, and then that didn't end up working out pretty recently, a year or so ago. That didn't end up working out. Of course, we saw her make a cameo on Tayshia's season, along with a couple other girls. So I feel like she's not afraid to get back in the Bachelor franchise, and she would be a great one to be in Bachelor in Paradise. What do you think, Hippa?
I agree as well. It seems like we're getting a lot of screen time from her, and she's just getting a little bit more and more popular as we see her more. So I think this would be a great fit for her if she does decide to go on or if they ask her as well.
Yeah, definitely. I even saw something, I think, where Blake Hortzman was sort of flirting with her on Instagram recently.
Oh,
And as we know, he was on her Bachelorette season and made it pretty far towards the end. And then she ended up choosing Garrett. But they definitely had a thing in the past. And then Blake had a lot go down when he was on Paradise, so much. He was entangled in like love triangle and just so much. So if I was Becca, I would certainly see the red flags in Blake, but there has been some Instagram flirting. So if they both end up back on Paradise, that's a couple that I'm going to be looking out for.
for sure. All right, Natalie says, who would you like to see on Paradise? Who's not talked about? Mine is Isla. Who
Oh,
would I like to see
Alea,
on
I
Paradise?
think.
Oh,
Do you remember
Alea.
Alea from Peter's season? Was it
No,
Peter?
I don't. Was it Peter season?
Yeah, I
There's
think
so many names to keep track of.
I'm pretty sure it was Peter's season. Yes, it was. And she was also a pageant girl, I think. And she was just very out there. Like think Victoria, Queen Victoria, not quite that much, but pushing the boundaries of Victoria almost to that. I totally forgot about Alea, so that is a great one. Most
Ooh,
people did
okay.
not like her though.
Would you want to see her on Paradise though?
Yeah, I think so. I also think Victoria is a pick for me for Paradise just because she's
Oh no.
absolutely crazy. I know. I'm like, I don't know. It might be too much, but it's like she might be perfect for Paradise, right? Because she like starts all the drama and everything's crazy. Would you want to see someone like Victoria or Alea on Paradise, or do you think that's way too much? We're done with drama like that.
I mean, it seems like Alea is a little bit more toned down version of Victoria because Victoria was just a whole other level. I mean, we all saw it. And I think if they were to bring back Victoria, it would just kind of be like they've done it again. So, like, what's going to be new? Like, it's just going to be the same predictive, I mean, toxic environment, unless she's learned her lesson, which I doubt. I mean, we'll have to see. But I think everyone's just so sick of seeing Victoria, like, we don't want to associate with her anymore or give her another platform, to be mean or whatever she might,
Right.
who
Yeah.
God knows, like, what she might entail in that experience. But I think as far as any other Bachelor in Paradise person, I think maybe Serena P. I mean, she was the one that, because I always get C and P confused. So Serena P was
Yeah.
the one that walked out on Matt, right? She chose to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I would like to see her because I thought she had such a fun personality. And maybe if it didn't work out with Matt, again, there's like a whole bunch of other people that she can meet on Bachelor in Paradise. She did make it far. And I just liked how truthful she was. Again, like when they went and did the yoga date, like she flat out said, I did not enjoy that. So I think she would be kind of refreshing to also have in the mix with Bachelor in Paradise. So I think it would be nice to see her as well.
Yeah, me too. We did a video recently about Serena P. She was saying that she's already thought of a full strategy about how she would try to date someone if she ever ended up down in Paradise. So she's definitely a name we're going to be looking out for because it could be very possible if she's already thinking about it and considering it. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions that we can jump to or comments from the video. If you have any more questions or comments, drop them right now and we can chat about them. Oliver said, Victoria is too much for the franchise. I don't want to see her. Yes, that is very true. I think Hiba, you
I
were
agree.
mentioning, yeah, you were mentioning that she's quite a handful. And so I think we've saw plenty enough of her on Matt James's season. So if we never see her back in Bachelor franchise, I don't think people would be upset about that. But it does sound like they're having trouble getting people to sign up for Bachelor in Paradise. And I feel like if she had the opportunity, she would go. Do you think if they reached out to her and asked her, you think she would go? Or do you think she is done with the hate and all that she's received since Matt's season?
I didn't even think about whether or not she would agree to it. I don't think she would because it seems like she just got so much flack for it online, bullied a lot, like she mentioned in the Women Tell All. So I think she wouldn't be up for it. I think she's kind of moved on and maybe wants to change. I hope she wants to change and learn from the experience. But again, there's also those people that just love the fame at the same time, and there's just like a couple of loose screws in their head, and they just love it, regardless of how they're perceived. So again, like I just don't know. She's so unpredictable. So God knows at this point, I really don't know. All right, this next person says, do you have a specific date of Katie's season of the Bachelorette premiere? Okay, so we know, of course, that they are filming Katie's season right now, and it's April now, the beginning of April. So I think, as far as I don't really know how many months it takes for them to like edit, come together, and do all of that to get it rolled out for the season premiere. But is it usually around May, around that time, Gabby? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I definitely think it's early summertime because Paradise is usually later in the summer. So I think May or
Got it.
early June is a really good guess because we know usually filming is a couple months and then they need a little bit of time to
Mhm.
edit as well, like you just said. So they're in the middle of it right now, so it's not too far off, but we're certainly just as excited as you are, Leo. And we can't wait for them to announce that date.
Right.
All right, looks like that is all the comments and questions we have to get to today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We loved talking about all your theories and your opinions on these Bachelor topics for today. And I'm Gabby Gonta, and I was joined by Hiba Berry today. You can follow us at our socials at Gabby Gonta. And Hiba, where can they find you?
At Hibaberry.
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any other videos or any other lives. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.